Okay, so we're going to do this question. You can read, I'm sure. Write down the vector OP. What did you start with, Chris? What is the vector OP? Okay, so let me just have a read of the question. Shows a radius. The ship is initial at 31 kilometers west and 32 kilometers south. So 31 kilometers west. So it's sort of like over here, and 32 kilometers south. So the ship's sort of over here. This is point P, is that right? Round about there, do you think? Yeah. Yeah? Okay, so so OP is negative 31. Now we're going to call that I. Negative 32J. So write down the vector OP. That's pretty simple. Yep. Okay. So we're going to make the assumption that that west is negative I, right is I, and we've got J and negative J. So we're going to make that assumption. And thankfully we don't have a third dimension at this stage, which is good. Okay, so that is correct. Part B. The ship is travelling parallel to vector U. So if you think about what is vector U? Vector U is 4i plus 3j. Now, if we were to draw the vector 4i plus 3j, I guess you get the idea that we're going across, we're going up. We're actually going in this direction here though, so maybe we want to do something like that. This is our vector 4i. This is our vector 3j. So I vector u, the direction of vector u is actually this here, like so. This is our direction. So it's traveling in that direction. Now, if it's traveling in that direction, what do you think would be a unit vector of 1 kilometer in that direction? Or how do we find 1 kilometer in that direction, do you think? What's U hat going to give us? U hat is going to give us 1 kilometer in the direction of what? Direction of this. Yeah? So with the ship is traveling parallel to vector this with a speed of 20. So if the speed's 20 and the magnitude over here, the magnitude of the unit vector is what? Magnitude of unit vector? Come on, unit. 1. So the magnitude of unit vector is 1, and we know that 1 in terms of units, 1 is actually a kilometer. So to go 20 kilometers, we multiply, and that in that direction, it's 20 times the unit vector. So this is, I guess, we're starting to put some application to it. So show that the vector PR is equal to 16 over 12. So the ship's traveling at this, an hour after leaving the ship is at R, so an hour. Well, let's work out how long is it going to travel in an hour? Yeah, so in 1 hour, it's going to travel 20 kilometers. Now, if it's traveling 20 kilometers in that direction, let's work out what U hat is first. U hat is equal to, well, the magnitude of U, 1 over the magnitude of U, times U itself. U itself is 4i plus 3j. And what's the magnitude? Square root of 4 squared plus 3 squared, it's going to be 5. Yeah? 5 or square root of 5? Yeah, it's 5. Over 5. So our little u hat is actually, oh, sorry, no, that's right. So our u hat is equal to 1/5 4i plus 3j. Okay, so that's just going to give us 1 kilometre in the direction of 4i plus 3j. Now, show that the vector PR is equal to 16 over 12, and hence find the vector OR. So if our ship starts over, here, negative, was that negative 32? Negative 32, negative, was this negative 31? If our ship starts here, and where does it finish up? Does it say where it finishes up? What are we going to do now? Ship is travelling parallel with a speed of 20 kilometres. So what we need to do is we're going in this direction 20 times. So what we've got to do is our vector PR, I think it's PR, is equal to PO plus, yep. Oh, okay, negative 31, yep. And 32. So we're starting over here, and what's this point? This point is P. This point is O. Now we know what OP is, because OP is negative 31i plus 30 minus 32j. Now, if what we don't want to go back to the origin though. We're going in this direction for 20 kilometres. Yeah? So if we're going in that direction for 20 kilometres, then what we need to do is add this component and add over the here. So I guess from P to R is equal to negative 31i, negative 32j, plus 20 kilometres or 20 times this unit vector. Now that unit vector is equal to 1/5. Now 20 over 5 is what? 4. So it's going to be equal to negative 31i, negative 32j, plus 4 outside of 4i plus 3j. Now, but remember that this point here, this is from O to P. This is from O to P. So we actually want, really, P to R is actually just, so that's not really technically right, is it? PR is actually just this here. And that happens to be 16i plus 12j, which I guess in this notation is the same as that. Does that make sense? Now remember that you don't need the coordinates of OP, but if you wanted OR though, you would have to do that. You'd have to go to P first and then to R. Okay? So if you wanted OR would be equal to OP then P to R. So then you would have to take into account this negative 31i, negative 32j, and then you would have to add this up here. But remember, we're just going from that point in the direction of the unit of this vector, which we call u, and we've gone 20 kilometres. So here's some applications to vectors, which I guess you wouldn't see just doing your questions from the text. Okay, so now the thing is, are we done yet though? Let's see what it's saying. Show that the vector PR and hence find the vector OR. Okay, well, hence find the vector OR. Well, that's what we just talked about that. So now what I want to do, if you add this component over here, negative 31i minus 32j plus 16i plus 12j, and then you just add the components. You can only add the i's and the j's. So we've got negative 15I, negative 20J. Yeah? So we've started over here. We've gone to here, but that is still, in terms of where it's finished off, if we were to go directly from the origin to there, this is going to give us OR. So OR is 15 kilometres to the west and 20 kilometres to the south. So this point here is negative 15, negative 20, which I hope is right. Now, yes, it is. That is right. Negative 15, negative 20. Good. All right, so we've found OR. Now, the next part of the question is asking us, show that when the ship reaches R, the lighthouse first becomes visible. Well, let me just, I hope that you've got some of that down. Let me just use some of this here. So, what is the magnitude of OR? What's the magnitude of OR? OR is what? OR is it negative 15I? Negative 20J. So the magnitude of OR is equal to 15 squared is 225. 225 plus 400 square root of 625 is 25. I'm hoping that's right. You better check for me, Heather. Is OR 25? I thought it was. 625, is it? Yes. All right, there you go. Good. Okay, so I've just done that in my head. OR, the magnitude of OR is 25. So that's 25 kilometres. Now, that is 25 kilometres from here. 25 kilometres out. Now, it says here to... so when the ship reaches R, it is 25 kilometres from a lighthouse, and therefore the lighthouse is visible from the ship. Well, let's have a look. This is its circle of radius 25. The diagram shows a circle of radius 25, a lighthouse entirely surrounded by the seas. This lighthouse is not visible from points outside this circle. Well, considering that the magnitude of OR is 25, it's just visible from the lighthouse, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Good. So you can see here that it's not overly difficult in terms of, but sometimes it's actually just trying to understand what the question's asking you, because that's where a lot of students struggle, especially exam 2 next year. You've really got to practice. It's the only really way around it. Let's have a go at question 2. Given that P is this and Q is this, now I'd like you guys to do this. If you feel comfortable doing this, go for it yourself. But P minus Q, don't forget your squiggles. Work out that first. Well, we've got 3I plus J minus, it's really important that you use your brackets here, because minus times a minus 2I plus 4J is equal to 3 plus 2, so 5I, J minus 4J, minus 3J. But remember, the question's asking us for the magnitude. So the magnitude of P minus Q, square root of 5 squared, 25, 34, square root of 34. Now, is this going to be equal to this, do you think? Are these going to be equal? Are A and B going to be equal? Come on. No, they're not, are they? Magnitude of P is square root of 3 squared, so root 10. So magnitude of P, I'm just going to do it because look, you don't have to. If you can do that in your head, which you should be able to. If you're going to make mistakes, though, don't do so. Q, magnitude of Q is equal to 16 plus square root of 20. So magnitude of P minus the magnitude of Q is it minus root 10? Yeah? Okay. So we need to find R such that P plus 2Q is plus R is equal to 0. P plus 2Q plus R is equal to 0. Okay. So have a go at question. Have a quick go at question C now. I'm going to pause this video, and I'd like you guys to have a go, and I'll go through it in a sec. So I've gone ahead and done something silly, and I've gone root 10 minus root 20 is no. That's just I'm lost my brain. So P minus Q is equal to root 10 minus root 20. So P plus 2Q, you guys can do this whilst I'm doing it. I'll just do this up here, but if you don't want to look and you want to do it. P plus 2Q. So 3I plus J minus 4I plus 8J plus R is equal to 0. So therefore we've got that R is equal to 11I negative 11I plus 9J minus 9J. Did you get R is equal to negative 11I minus 9J? I minus 9J. What did I do? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think I just added the wrong thing there. Yeah, that's a J. Shane, that's stupid. So it's I, negative I. Negative over there is positive I. So it's I minus 9J. Okay, so so that one's pretty easy, isn't it? That's a pretty easy question. But that being said, if you don't know how to add and subtract vectors, you're not going to be able to do it. If you don't know how to find the magnitude properly, you're not going to be able to do it. But that's pretty straightforward. Okay, let's have a look at this one. We've got three vectors. Negative 2i plus j plus 2k. So we're looking in 3 dimensions now. I don't want you guys to do them, whenever you're working with vectors, I don't want you to do it like that because I guess next year I don't want you doing it then. So find the value of the scalar k such that a plus 2b minus c is equal to this. What can you say about these two vectors? If we've got a value k, a scalar multiple, what can you say about these two vectors? They're parallel. So these two vectors, a plus 2b minus c, if that happens to be some scalar times d, then that vector is going to be parallel to d. Won't be the same size, but they'll be in the same direction. So find the scalar of k. So I'm going to do that now, and you guys should find that pretty easy. Minus 2i plus j plus 2k plus 22, I'm just doing it, plus 14j plus 3k minus c, so minus, thank you, minus c, so minus 7i plus 9j plus 7k. Okay, so let's do that. We've got negative 22 plus 22, so that's 20, 13i. So we've got a plus 2b minus c is equal to 13i. We've got 15 plus 6j, zip it, 8 minus 7 is 1, plus 1k, or just k. And KD is equal to, so that is equal to some constant k, 26i plus 12j plus 2k. So what's k equal? Yeah? So therefore, k is equal to a half. Because if we have a half over here, half 26i plus 12j plus 2k is equal to that. So, if you ever need to prove that two vectors are parallel, if one's a scalar multiple of the other, then they are. Have a go at question B if you like. I'll do it up on the board. So we want x times, what was a? A was, yep, minus 2i plus j plus 2k. And so that's xa plus yb, 1173. Equals d, equals 26. So that is equal to 26i plus 12j plus 2k. So equating the I, j, and k components on the left-hand side, you should have, let's do this. Let's do, that's I, j, and yeah, that's not really going to work. Run out of room a fair bit using this method. Let's just say that that equals I j, and that's k. So we've got negative 2x I negative 2x plus 11 y x plus 7y and 2x plus 3y. Okay, so what are you going to do here, guys? What do you have to do? We've got our... I wish I had more room here. Yes, you need 3 simultaneous equations. Now, from there, I'm not going to do that right now. I've been through that. So you guys can then work that out. Run out of room there. Use your answers to A and B to find scalars PQ which are not all zero, such that, yeah, I'd like you to finish that off. I'm running out of room and I don't feel like doing simultaneous equations. I've taught you that already. I will make some assumptions, like you can do that question. All right. Next one. You can't do simultaneous equations.